ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday. I hope you guys had a good week and that your weekend has started well as well. Now, I definitely know that today's Saturday, but here in the UK, it's 8 minutes past 11 at night on the Saturday night, because you might have seen the poster at the beginning of the live stream. Indeed, it is a Sunday night, tomorrow night, that I will be playing with Taj in London at the garage. So, looking forward to that. And yeah, we'll just have to see what happens when myself and Taj are on stage, because we haven't really planned anything. But maybe, we'll plan something in the sound check possibly, but we're just going to see what happens tomorrow night and have a jam, play some guitar. Of course, Taj will be playing through his normal set and melting everybody's faces, but I will be there as well with a guitar. I say a guitar. Most likely the guitar that you can't see, it's just behind here, the Performers Series Strat. Just because it's more of a blues kind of vibe rather than a hard rock kind of vibe that, you know, you'd get with the Ibanez. So yeah, we're going to be taking the Fender Strat tomorrow and seeing what happens. And if you want to get tickets, then you can do at tajfarrant.com/shows. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. After tonight's live stream, I'm going to have to, get all my gear, move it, and get ready for tomorrow so that I can just be as organised as possible. So anyway, hello to you guys in the live chat room. And in there we have, I can see Howard going through, and Howard says, we'll see you at the garage on Sunday. So Howard is going to be there. Now, at the moment, I mean, I'm just going to be going by myself. I was going to say, of course, but that might not be particularly obvious to everybody. But that's generally what happens when I get invited to go to things. I just go to things. So it means that I don't have a team of people who might be, you know, taking pictures or having, you know, a video camera set up or anything like that. But hopefully, maybe if people have got phones, or maybe if Howard's got a phone, he can just press record on a video, possibly, who knows, or take some pictures. And maybe if people are there after the show, I'll be asking them to say, did you take any pictures? Because it'd be good if I could have a few of those. So but I'll see what Brandon's going to be doing, Taj's dad, and whether he's going to be capturing any of it, because he should be able to on his phone. I just ask him maybe to get a bit of it so that we can show it on a live stream maybe on Tuesday. We will see. But anyway, there's a good reason to tune in on Tuesday, but even better reason for just heading into London if you are in and around London at the time. I know that a lot of people over in the USA would like to come to the show, but they're in the USA, so it means that they can't quite make it. Especially before tomorrow night. So it will be interesting. Very much looking forward to it. Now, let's just get the names of my patrons up on screen, because they make this all possible in the first place. Every video that I make on the channel, but also these live streams. So thank you guys. You know who you are. And the names go across the bottom of the live streams on a Saturday and a Tuesday. If you want to get involved yourselves, head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, and you can get involved over there. We also have the Authentic Vocal Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Authentic Vocal, and I occasionally do put that in the analysis videos for people that are maybe a little bit frustrated at not knowing really what they're listening to. And that just reminds me that the latest video that we had was on AI, and this certainly was the case of people really not knowing what they're listening to. So that was a bit of an interesting one. But with the AI thing, generally, when there is a request that's made and somebody genuinely doesn't know what's going on, or I can see that a lot of people are confused about what they're listening to, or some people just assume that it's a real band or artist, then I will bring it to people's attention, especially when the video on YouTube isn't disclosed as being AI. And this is the whole point, that unfortunately YouTube leaves it to the uploader to state whether it's AI or not. So if they don't state that it's AI and disclose that information, it means that nobody potentially will know, unless you know what you're looking out for, such as the things that I point out in my video about, the guitar disease that makes the frets all kind of melt and blend into one for particular frames of the video, and then the headstock of the guitar just magically changing from one style to another style, and the guitar being left-handed and then being right-handed, even though the guitarist playing it is still playing it right-handed. So lots of things to notice when you do know what to look out for. But I will point it out if I ever spot that, because more often than not, I think most people are now disclosing AI But when it isn't disclosed, then I'll make sure people know what is real and what is not. And that's why in those kinds of videos I do put about the Authentic Vocal Patreon page, because with Authentic Vocal it's covering everything. So if there's an AI vocal, that's not an authentic vocal. It's not even a person, but it doesn't qualify as an authentic vocal. So yeah, everything over there is just pure singing, the natural human voice, and that's without any pitch correction or auto tune, all of that stuff, or lip syncing or miming. All of that isn't over on Authentic Vocal, and AI isn't on Authentic Vocal either. So they are just genuine humans singing. So right now, let's get the like skull up on screen, because, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I need some kind of fanfare playing at the moment. I managed to fix the interface that wasn't working on Tuesday after the update that ruined it. It is now working. So yeah, having been through, I don't know what I would probably consider one of my least favourite things in the world, which is troubleshooting through hardware and software, using updates and seeing what's working, why is it not working, unplugging the USB connection, trying it, resetting or cycling the computer, turning it on, turning it off, and trying to fix things. One of my least favourite things to do in the world, because you're just sitting at the computer seeing what works and seeing if it does work, and then it doesn't work and it just keeps on not working. But it is now working. So as for how I fixed it, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because I downloaded the latest patch and the latest drivers for my Scarlett interface, and I restarted the computer. That didn't work, and then I restarted the computer again. That didn't work, and I can't remember what I did. And after lots of troubleshooting, eventually I restarted the computer and it did work, and it is working now. But it always tends to be the case that something works and then you can't remember what you did to get it working, but then you just have to think, well, it is working at the moment, until Apple maybe release another update, and then that'll make it stop working again. So I'll have to turn off the automatic updates, because that's something that is becoming a regular thing. I update the software, and then obviously drivers for particular pieces of equipment might not exist, so then they don't work. And yeah, like last time, it was literally an hour before I'm about to live stream, and everything went wrong. So anyway, let me just skip these adverts. Right, oh, I didn't give you guys a shout out in the live chat room. So hello to you guys. We've got Xplan, Cindy, Laurie, Billy, Sue, and Desert Deluge. Rose is in there as well. Melody Rocks, Donell or Donal, and Teresa, and Mark, and Paul's in there as well, and Kevin. So Kevin says, fun with Apple, fingers crossed. Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as fun, but it certainly is unpredictable. But everything seems to be working at the moment. Fingers crossed it's still going to be working later on. But this is why, when I get up on screen the likes goal, this is why we can now have a goal. And we are going to be aiming for 300 likes for tonight. And the other thing that I can see is that the desktop capture that I set up has disappeared. So I have to quickly do this again before we get the likeometer up on screen, because we can see that we are at 172 likes so far, meaning we're looking for another 128 people, 127 people to hit the thumbs up before the end of the live stream. And I can see Melody Rock says, so the latency issue is gone? No, the latency issue is still here. Unfortunately, so I'm still going to be going through the laptop, but it means that I can use the old setup that's using my laptop that we had to use because of the latency problem. And yeah, that latency thing, I don't know how that's ever going to sort itself out, because everything was working, and then all of a sudden we then had this latency issue. that, and I hadn't changed anything other than the system updating itself. So yeah, I don't know whether it's ever going to have an update that is like the very old version, because we're talking about almost, what, a year ago? Is it quite that long? Maybe not. But I mean, it seems like a very long time ago that we've been having to use the laptop to just play back the backing track. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But the problem is that if I'm now turning off the automatic updates, then I'm going to have this laptop set up all the time, which is a bit of a pain. Or I leave the updates on and it could break any other piece of equipment. So I think at the moment we've got a setup that actually works, even though it's a bit of a pain. So I'm more kind of obliged to keep it as it is rather than risk using, or there being an update which might solve the latency thing, but it could actually make everything else not work. Like this microphone, for example, which is going through the ID4 interface. Like imagine if suddenly the ID4 stops working because it's not got a driver that is up to date with whatever operating system update Apple releases. So anyway, yeah. If we are coming into the live chat room, if you could leave a thumbs up, that would be very much appreciated, because then we get to bust out the guitar and have a jam. And we will be jamming on the Performer Series Strat, which is there. And I have changed the strings on that. I was going to say relatively recently, but actually really recently. So we'll have to wait and see what the tuning's like on it. But at least I get to play in the strings a little bit. So I've changed the strings because generally that's something that I always do and always have done. If ever I have a live show, I'll always change the strings, usually the day before I'm about to play. Sometimes the day of, if I'm up early enough and I've got enough time. But then if you are changing your strings the day of a performance, you've got to make sure that you play them in so that your guitar doesn't start going out of tune. So this is what I'll be doing tonight. Just jamming along to whatever it is. If we do hit the goal of 300 likes for tonight, we'll use the new strings on whatever the backing track is going to be, play them in a little bit, and then hopefully tomorrow they'll be okay, they'll keep their tuning, and more importantly, they're not going to snap, fingers crossed, because, I think I've never been at the point, or I've never in my life managed to snap a string within a day of changing them, because I think you really have to be going some in order to do that. So I think sometimes when you see people snap a string and they're playing live, it's one of two things. Either the roadie hasn't changed the strings properly and they'll probably get sacked, because you can always tell if it is a string failure or when I say a roadie problem or a failure by the roadie, obviously I'm talking about very well-known bands and artists, that if you see a particular guitarist break a string who's very well known, that's one of two things. It's either the guitarist not being, I'd say, not being prepared for playing live, or it would be the roadie who has not quite set up the guitar correctly or changed the strings correctly. They should really know how to do that, but for whatever reason, sometimes they might not wrap it round the machine head at the top enough times so that it doesn't actually have a proper grip. These things can happen, especially if you're just learning to do it yourself and you just started out changing strings on your guitar. But a roadie should really be mastering that and know how to restring a guitar. But if a string does break, I've never experienced being able to do that within a day of changing them. Generally what will happen is after a few shows, then you'll get to a show and you think, oh, now these strings are really old. Obviously I never got to that point, but even when you're practicing, like if you're rehearsing and you might not have a gig for a while, then you'll start to feel that your strings are getting a little bit looser, losing a bit of tension, and when you're bending the strings you're almost waiting for them to snap if you are doing a bit of an exotic bend. So yeah, I think you kind of get the feeling of when something might snap or not. But yeah, for me, I know that some guitarists just don't. They literally don't change their strings until they fail. Whereas, yeah, I think I'd rather just make sure that everything is all right, and I want it to fail in a rehearsal, not while I'm playing live. Because, yeah, especially with the guitars that I usually play with the Floyd Rose bridge, if you break a string there, if a string goes, then it's pretty much game over. You're going to have to do some serious tuning and avoid playing that string. But you'll have to do some tuning between songs, because the Floyd Rose bridge relies on the tension of all of the strings in order to maintain its position. So if you suddenly lose a string, that means that it's going to pop up that bridge, which means now all the other strings are going to go out of tune and just be randomly tuned. So yeah, if you've got a fixed bridge, that's easier to work with, because if one string goes, the bridge doesn't move, so you can still play the strings, they'll still be in tune. So yeah, my top tip, which I think is just common sense really, change your strings before each show. You might be able to get away with doing 1 or 2 shows or 3 shows maybe. It depends how much you bend the strings, but I always err on the side of caution. So Melody Rock says, so you don't bring a backup guitar to a gig? I have done in the past, but I'd say more often than not, no. I just take one guitar, because of exactly that I know that my strings are fresh, and considering I've never been able to break a string within a day, I've always kind of had confidence in the guitar and the strings not snapping. So yeah, let me think. I guess for the larger gigs, I might have taken a backup guitar, and yeah, back in the day that would have been my Geo that I was using playing live. Then I might have taken my Fender Strat as the backup guitar, and yeah, my Fender Strat, not this one, but my other Fender Strat. When I say this one, it's like behind the microphone, so you can't really see it. The other Strat that I have has got a twin blade or dual blade pickup on there, Seymour Duncan pickup, so it means that I can get a more aggressive sound. So that's why I could kind of play the Geo, the Ibanez Geo, and then replace that with the Fender Strat if anything happened to that Floyd Rose bridge. So yeah, thankfully I never had to swap to the other guitar. It was always just waiting there, but the strings never went. So right now, oh look, Photographer Records says, I don't change strings until the break. New strings to a gig suck. They never stay in tune. So yeah, this is it, that you want to make sure that you play in your strings. So if you change them the day before, you got to play for a while, do all of the bends that you would normally do, even do over bends, something that a technician that used to work in a store where I used to teach, he would always kind of put the guitar on its back and just pull up on the strings to increase that tension, and then let go of them, and yeah, kind of try to put as much tension as possible through those strings. Obviously don't go crazy with it. You don't want to do it like a bow and arrow, pulling it back and wrecking the whole guitar, but just increasing that tension on the string, because then when you let go of it, they'll be flat, and then you tune them up again, do it again, it'll be slightly less flat, then tune it up again, and it'll be slightly less flat, and tune it up, and eventually you'll get to that point where they are now maintaining the same tension, and they'll stay in tune. So I'm getting towards that point now with my Strat here. And yeah, I mean, tonight's Fill the Jam will probably help with that. So yeah, we will see. Fingers crossed. If we do get there, we need some thumbs up, 70 more thumbs up in order to get to that point. Right now, the other thing is that you don't have to donate. Just watching is great. Of course, every donation is very much appreciated, but I think it's important that you know, for those people that can't resist it, I think it's important that they know between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the Super Chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, which you can find in the description below. But like I said, it's not a necessity at all. Right, Howard says, would love to bring my Pocket 3 video to the show. think I can do that? Question mark. Probably. If there's any problem with it, you can say, Phil, who's playing here tonight, said that it's okay for me to bring a camera and to film it. So there you go. You can say that if there is any problem with it. Or, I'm sure tomorrow night I'm going to be, I was going to say buzzing around. That's probably not very accurate. But I will be walking around. I'll be in the venue and, wandering around. So I look like this. So you should be able to find me, and we can sort it out. We can organise it. I think it's going to be a bit of a kind of laid back show. That's very much what Taj is all about. So I'll be there, and you can come and chat to me, and we can sort things out. So let me just skip that advert. Now let's move into, I think, the PayPal window first, just to get through a few of these donations. But thank you guys for these. I just want to make sure that I don't miss any. And here we go. It was Chuck that donated £2. So thank you for that, Chuck. And that is a straight up donation. And Cindy donated £30. So thank you for that, Cindy. And the message was and is, "Hi Phil, how do you warm up before a show? Both for vocals and guitar. I know you have probably answered this before, but it seems pertinent today. Thanks." So thank you for that. With my voice, generally what I do is have just a backing track of scales that I do maybe for, I don't know, not too long, maybe 10 minutes before then kind of going out. And generally I would do it quite close to going out on stage and starting the performance. But it would be things like, lip rolls and humming, things to warm up the voice slowly to begin with, but then gradually kind of build up to the notes and the range that you want to kind of have that you will be accessing in the live performance. So generally I used to kind of take it a bit easy, but before kind of doing a live performance. And with guitar, I've never really warmed up. I know that there are some guitarists who are very technical, and they'll go through loads of scales and all of the runs that are kind of subconscious muscle memory that they've kind of practiced and got up to a certain speed. And I think that when you are playing really fast, if that's what you do, then I can see that you might have to warm up your hand and your wrists, the muscles, and get it all prepared. I think it would also depend on where you're playing. If you're playing outside and it's cold, then you might want to just warm up your hands as much as possible in general. But I'd say for me, because I never really play anything that's kind of super fast, I know that everything that I play, like when I do these fill jams at the end of the live streams, I've never warmed up. I'm not warming up to play, because it's something that when you're kind of singing notes through the guitar, you're thinking of those notes as you're playing them, and you're never going to think of 10 notes in a second, because that's not singing. That's just subconscious muscle memory. So if you are throwing in a lot of that, then of course you might want to warm up. So I've never really done that, even though I do have tapping and stuff in my original guitar solos, but I don't consider it technically very heavy in the style that I play. It's more kind of focusing on melody, which you don't really have to warm up too much for, because very much like a voice that is singing, the notes aren't going to be hitting you 10 or 20 notes a second. It's very much going to be just a few notes per second, and more about the melody of what you're playing. So Melody Rock says, what about finger stretching exercises? So no, I've never done those either. So I think that I mean, I've got kind of smaller hands anyway, so when you start playing particular chords, and there are some chords where, even just playing a basic blues, where you're alternating between your third finger and little finger, and you've got the two frets between that third finger, little finger. The lower down the guitar you go, the more of a stretch you're going to get out of that. So I've only ever really used positions of the guitar to stretch my hand out. I've never kind of pulled on my fingers or done anything like that. It's I think obviously down to everyone what they prefer to do, but I've always tried to apply whatever I'm doing to the way that I play the guitar and my own physiology. Like, I'm not going to dislocate a finger trying to stretch for something that I know really is physically impossible for me to get there. So that's why I kind of worked on tapping a bit more, because then it means that when other players are using their little finger, if I can't get to that fret with my little finger, then I use my second finger or third finger on my right hand. So it's just about working out your own way of playing and playing to your strengths. And if you are playing the guitar a different way because of your physiology, it means that what you're playing is going to sound slightly different and it's going to sound unique. So just embrace everything about you that is individual and unique, and then you can't really go wrong with that. Right, now let's move on. Let's keep looking at the PayPal window, because there have been a few more donations there. Let me just scroll up, and Karen's donated £3.51, so thank you for that. And the message is, greetings from beautiful California, Phil. Looking forward to seeing a bit of you and Taj. Oh, by the way, King Charles nailed his trip speeches here in the US, so thank you for that. I did see a clip of King Charles, and he seemed to do very well with what I saw was him addressing Congress, I believe. So he did very well there. There's also this thing, and we're not going to get political, there's this thing where President Trump, when he shakes somebody's hands, he grabs them, and I think he tries to pull it close to him, which is, I don't know, is obviously a power thing. But here in the UK, we learn to shake hands. It's just a thing that we do. So it means that we're generally pretty solid when we shake each other's hands. And I could tell that King Charles, he wasn't budging when President Trump was trying to kind of pull his hand closer. He wasn't going there. And apparently, the people that have shaken King Charles' hand say that he's got sausage fingers. That's just something somebody wrote on the internet that I read. So I think he's got quite strong hands, but I think it's something that for whatever reason here in the UK, you're told to shake hands firmly. And I think if somebody's trying to, there's this thing where also people go over the top like this, and I'm not really into all that. I mean, if somebody wants to shake my hand and kind of do it over the top to, I don't know what it is, to signify their dominance, I don't have a problem. You can shake hands however you like. I think it's more, I don't know, an indication of yourself and your personality as to how you shake hands. If you feel like you want to dominate somebody or show that you're dominating them with a handshake, then I think there are kind of deeper issues. I just don't see the problem with just having a normal handshake. So, there you have it. But we moved on a little bit from the King Charles thing. But he did very well. Right, now, Karen's donated £3.51 again. And the message is, greetings from beautiful California, Phil. You seem to be incredibly kind. And I'm just curious if you've ever had to fire anybody, and how hard is / would it be for you? So thank you for that. Oh yes, I have fired people, and it is difficult, but if you've got a vision and there's a particular place that you want to be and you're very focused on that, if there is someone that is getting in the way of that, or someone who might be derailing what you want to do. I think it's different when you've got a personal project and you've got your own music and you've got your own vision and you know exactly where you want to be. If you then want to play live, you've got to have a band, which means that you're now relying on other people. And if those people can't be relied upon, then I'm quite patient and I will give people a chance. But if they're constantly, for example, turning up late to rehearsals that I pay for, it's all my money that will be going into paying the rehearsals. So it means that if I pay for 3 hours, if somebody turns up half an hour or an hour late, they're basically stealing my money, because they should be turning up on time, especially if they are session musicians and I'm actually paying them anyway to be there. And this is another whole problem of the expense of trying to find people that can play in your band, that can actually play what you want them to play, because sometimes you'll have a musician who just struggles to play it and you say, well, no, that's not it, it goes like this. And then it might be a technical ability problem where they can't quite get what you're explaining to them. And then, that's generally when you have to go down the route of session musicians, because they will be able to play what you ask them to play. But with other people, if they are, turning up late and you've asked them multiple times, maybe after the 4th or the 5th time of turning up late, that's when I, say, look, it's time for me to either get somebody else or think of another way around it. It's like there was a bassist that I had who, at the last minute, I think like a week before a particular performance, I can't remember which one it was, but there was a performance that we had coming up and I'd emailed everyone, because I've got all of the songs and all of the parts that are being played in my digital audio workstation in Logic. It meant that I could bounce down or mix down each instrument and send it to the person and say, look, here you go, this is what you need to learn for the songs. So I sent that out to the guitarist and the bassist and the drummer, and I think there was a session keys player as well. So I sent this all out and I said, right, we're going to learn everything, and then I think it's maybe a couple of weeks before the show, we were just going to do a couple of rehearsals, just going through the full set, because I'd sent them everything so they knew the set from the beginning to the end. I say that when the bassist turned up, I said, right, well, we'll start with the first song, and we're just about to start, and the bassist said, well, which is the first song? And I said, oh, it's this one. And he said, how does it go? And at that point, it's like the alarm bells go off. So I said, we've been working at them for four weeks. I've sent you all the stuff. And he goes, oh, I don't check my emails. But almost like... So anyway, this is just a small example of what I'm talking about, where when it gets to the point of saying to someone, well, if you're in a band and if you've got a gig and you haven't heard anything from me, surely you should think, hang on, okay, there's only a couple of weeks until this show that we're playing, and I don't know any of the set or anything that's going on. Wouldn't you say to the person in charge, is there anything that I should know for this gig, or are we just all turning up and seeing what happens? But anyway, so it is difficult sometimes to get rid of people, but when you've got the focus and the drive to do something, and when somebody's not really pulling their weight, it's not that difficult, because it's almost a relief to get rid of that person. In that particular case, I played the bass for the whole set, and I literally recorded it from beginning to end, so that the whole, because we only had 2 weeks, and it meant that I had to record the whole set of me playing the bass, put it on a backing track, and have that backing track run throughout the whole show, and have the drummer play to a click so that the bass was in time the whole time. And this was ages ago. So I was using a laptop that it was touch and go whether this was going to work or not, because obviously we'd rehearsed it and we all had it down, apart from now we didn't have a basis. So yeah, I had to now totally rework how I was going to do the show, and we were now having to do it to a click track, and with me playing bass coming out of a laptop, which so many years ago laptops weren't as fast as they are now. So yeah, it was really touch and go whether it would even load the project and just play for however long it was. I think maybe half an hour or 45 minutes. So yeah, that was a bit crazy. But there are quite a lot of things that with my real life story or my Phil tunes, there are lots of other situations that you wouldn't believe that happened. You know, I only had time to get down 4 or 5 of those cartoons, but things like this, and then other people turning up to rehearsals and just doing things that you think, what planet is this person on? Because that's not what you do when you're in a band and you're rehearsing. It's not for whatever you're trying to do in this rehearsal time. And it's even worse when you're paying for it and you think, what are you doing? Now, just to give a quick example of that, somebody came in and we were getting set up and we were just about to start, and I'm paying for this rehearsal time, and this particular person wanted to play their ukulele. I don't have ukulele in any of my songs or my set, but this person wanted to plug their ukulele into the PA to see what it sounded like. So yeah, when that kind of person comes along, it's very easy to let go of that person, because I say, I'm here to rehearse my songs for the show that I'm doing with a band. I haven't I haven't booked this rehearsal time for you to play your ukulele. So there you go. There's another situation. But moving on with tonight's live stream, but also the donations. Thank you for that, Karen. Yeah, all kinds of weird stuff happens. Sue's donated £20. Thank you for that, Sue. And the message is, break a leg tomorrow and have the best time. We're cheering for you from all around the world. So thank you for that. And yeah, break a leg. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, that won't happen. And actually, I saw Billy Strings, who we follow each other on Instagram. He broke his leg recently at a show because he likes to do skateboarding, and I think he said he had a skateboard, and he might have done this on stage where he went to do a trick on his skateboard and it went a bit wrong and he properly broke his leg. When I say properly, I've seen the x-rays that he put up on Instagram where I think he broke what looked like his tibia and was it his tibia and his fibula? Are those the official names for the bones of the shin bone and the bones in the lower part of your leg? The femur is the thigh bone. You don't want to break. Obviously, you don't want to break that. But if you break that, that's a serious one. So he broke his leg doing a skateboarding trick. Now, I know that he said to his fans that his fans always say to leave the skateboard alone just in case he does injure himself. But he does what he wants to do, and I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so conscious of, first of all, my hands, of playing the guitar, but also when I used to play football, even recreationally, I'd always be a bit careful, not going in for challenges and things, because I know that, well, if I injure if I break my leg or, break an arm or something, then it's really going to affect what I do. And I mentioned about, the insurance, a few live streams ago about being insured, and if you do anything to your hands or your arms, such as when I damaged my ligament and tendon in my arm, that was from working out, and then working out and playing golf and aggravating it, and then the insurance company got involved and said, you do realise that we're not covering that that because that wasn't something that injured you, that meant you then couldn't do what you do, playing guitar and all that kind of stuff. It's something that you did yourself by working out. So yeah, that's quite funny. I got a letter from the insurance company saying that. But this is the point now that, I'm very careful about everything. And I think I don't know, if you're really passionate about something and you really love doing another thing and you can't give that up, then that's up to everyone individually. I mean, I would like to get back to playing a bit of golf, but I'm very much going to be getting back into that very slowly, as and when it is possible. So now I think we have had another donation in the PayPal window. And it's Karen again with a donation of £3.51. And the message is, isn't it true that Mr. Trump has broken etiquette, both when he walked in front of Queen Elizabeth and then in front of the Queen and King on this trip? So I don't know about the etiquette. And I've said in previous live streams that I don't really follow too much of what's happening with the royal family, or what you can do, what you can't do. I think when you might meet the king or queen, my understanding is that you're told by people what you can do and what you can't do. But I'm not sure anybody probably told President Trump, because, I get the impression nobody tells him to do anything. Or, maybe if they would tell him, I wouldn't know whether he'd listen or not. Anyway, but he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's being told what to do. So, right, now let's get into, I think, the super chat window, which means I have to get rid of the lycometer. And let's see what's going on in here. Right, Monica donated $12.55. So thank you for that. And the message is, don't forget about Troll Corner, please. So thank you for that. And generally, I mean, Troll Corner is all about having those particular comments to address, and I might have one of those tonight because one's just popped into my head. But thank you for that. And it is 10 to midnight here, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on the time. Paul's donated $5. Thank you for that, Paul. The message is, let's have fun tonight, all y'all. Please spike the likes. Peace, love, and rock. So thank you for that. And Chrissy has donated $2.99. Says, hi Phil, good to see you. So thank you for that. Good to see you too. And Dawn has donated $1.99 and says, do you get nervous before a live show? So thank you for that. And I don't know. I'm not sure whether it's a nervous thing, whether it's more of an excited thing. It's probably a combination of the two. But the only time that I think I've been conscious of being more nervous was many years ago when we were in a kind of national battle of the bands thing, and it was a semi-final. So it was interesting. I don't know why I was more nervous in the semi-final than I was in the final. So I don't know why I was particularly nervous in the semi-final. I think it might have been because I felt like I had a cold or something, and it was, when you feel like you can't perform to your highest level, and if it is being seen as a competition type thing, that's something that you might get a little bit self-conscious about. So I think it's more along the lines of that. But generally, I'd say it's more of an excitement thing. But I think having a degree of nerves is a good thing, as long as it doesn't kind of negatively affect the performance too much. You want to have a little bit of nervous energy. I think can be a good thing. So thank you for that, Dawn. It's just reminded me of a final at Wimbledon where there was, I don't know the names of the players, but there was a female player who did an amazing tournament, got through to the final, and she was so nervous in the final that she couldn't do anything, and she started crying, and obviously lost quite badly because she was so nervous being in a Wimbledon final that she couldn't perform. So I thought, well, that's a bit of a shame because you work all of your life to get to that point, and then you can't do what you really have worked towards doing. So I don't know why she was so nervous, or maybe felt under pressure for some reason. I think it was just a mental thing of feeling the pressure of maybe not letting everyone down and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I generally always tend to take the approach that, with music, for example, you're doing what you do, and people can kind of like it or not. And I see that the same for performing in sports, that you're just doing what you do, like on a tennis court, and yeah, if people like the way you play, great. If they don't, it doesn't matter. But it's all about enjoyment, and go out there and enjoy yourself and see what happens, rather than having a pressure or putting a pressure on yourself to perform a particular way. And I think that is something that's relevant to music as well. Is when you are performing, getting, I don't know, sidetracked of trying to play like somebody else or like your favourite performer, guitarist, singer, whatever it might be, and trying to do what they do rather than just do what you do. Because if you do what you do, and that's all that person's doing, so they're not trying to copy anyone. So just take that same mental approach, do what you do, and just enjoy it as much as you can. But certainly with sports that are, not a team sport, an individual sport, is such a mental thing. So it was a shame to see that many years ago. But it wasn't Yana Novotná. That was this was, I say, relatively recently, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. So I know that there's that other final, but this was one that, because in 1993, because I would have been a kid at school, I wouldn't have really known too much about Wimbledon, whereas this was a more recent final. So Orlando has donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is: does a singer like Rob Halford of Judas Priest use a combination of neck voice and chest voice to hit his trademark high note? I had to scroll across just to get the end bit there, the high note. So, well, this is the thing. I would say, because of his longevity, that it's definitely a combination of mixed voice and a little bit of chest voice. But if he were belting those notes up there, his voice would have caved in by now. So he's definitely accessing a configuration that is lighter, that allows him to get up there consistently, which generally that's going to be head voice, and it's going to be mixed voice as well, to kind of give a bit of body to it. So yes, I'd say that it's definitely a mixed voice approach. Chrissy donated $2.99. Thank you for that. And the message is: hi Phil, good to see you again. Have I already read that one out? Oh, maybe as it went through. Oh no, Chrissy donated the same thing earlier on, so thank you for that. And Elaine's donated $5 and says adrenaline rush, maybe, with a smiley face. I'm not sure what that refers to, but thank you for that donation. Right now we are going to be jumping into tonight's cover video, which at the moment 50%. Oh, it literally just changed. As I looked at it, it's now Don't Slow Down with 50%. It was Parisian Walkways with 50%. So if anyone votes in the live chat room, it can potentially change. This is how close we are talking about. And I'm going to leave it maybe for a few seconds, because I know that sometimes people watching the stream, when it goes out, there's about a 20 seconds delay to when people actually see it. And it looks, I'm waiting for it to change. It looks like it might be Don't Slow Down. Of course, if people vote for Don't Slow Down, then it's going to be that. I'm going to keep my eye on it. And it's not going to be a pure 50-50, because Don't Slow Down is currently in the lead. Parisian Walkways is currently in the lead. I'm not going to be doing this all night, but if this is so close, by the time I click on end poll, let's see if anybody else clicks the button or not. Okay, I'm going to do a 10-second countdown. At the moment, Parisian Walkways is in the lead. It now has 51% of the vote. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, end. And I'm waiting for the official result to come through at the bottom of the live chat room. For whatever reason, it's taking ages. And it was Parisian Walkways with 51% of the vote. So, thank you guys for requesting these over on Patreon. Don't Slow Down and Parisian Walkways. This is my version of the Gary Moore classic. I hope that you enjoy it, and I'll see you after. Rock!
I remember Paris, 49, the Champs-Élysées, Saint-Michel and old Beaujolais wine. And I recall that you were mine on those Parisian days. Looking back at the photographs, those summer days spent outside corner cafes. Ooh, I could write you paragraphs about my old Parisian days.
And there we have it. There was my version of Parisian Walkways. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, for some reason, I didn't get any sound on that until right at the end. So yeah, knowing when it's going to finish is always a little bit difficult, but I was watching my hands on the fretboard, so I knew that the ending was coming up at some point. Right now, we, I think, are going to be having a fill jam. Let me check on the amount of likes, and I can see that we are at 317 likes for tonight's live stream. So thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up. It means that I will be busting out the guitar imminently for the Phil Jam, and I'm not sure how long the backing track is because it's on the laptop. So let me just have a quick check. I always go to grab the mouse for this computer to control it on the laptop. Never works. So 5 minutes and 17 seconds. So a relatively short one for tonight, but yeah, just let me make sure that everything is up to date in the super chat window. I'm just trying to access it. Have to get rid of the likes in order to get into the viewer activity, the donations. Or somebody said that there was an AI chat something or other overview or something. I don't know what it is, but it's nothing to do with me. That might be something that YouTube is doing, possibly, where it's taking in every single comment and giving, I don't know, a summary of what people are saying. I don't know. But yeah, I don't do any AI stuff on my channel other than report on AI channels that aren't saying that they're AI when they actually are. So, oh yeah, the troll corner. I almost forgot about that. I did forget about that. But quickly, Kevin donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, with Taj, it will be the Phil Jam of the century. I know you'll have fun big time. So thank you for that, Kevin. And yeah, it's going to be good fun to bust out the guitar with Taj. And yeah, it certainly is going to be a Phil Jam to remember. Elaine's donated $2 and says, I was referring about being nervous. And that's related to the adrenaline rush thing. Maybe it's a bit of an adrenaline rush. So yeah, a nervous, excited, adrenaline rush type thing. So yeah, thank you for the donations. Of course, you don't have to donate, but they are very much appreciated. Now let's jump into Troll Corner. We haven't been in here for a while, and I'll see you guys in a second. Now, with Troll Corner, it's actually going to refer to a comment, or quite a few comments that were made on a video that I made recently, which I have recorded a follow-up video for, and I'm going to be releasing that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So yeah, I could well be on stage performing while that video releases, but I have already recorded it and set it to release tomorrow night. So this is, I'll keep it relatively vague and not mention any names or anything, but there's a video that I did recently where it was a band, and I was pointing out that what we're listening to is tuned from a vocal perspective. And then quite a lot of fans, but especially just one fan in particular, then started leaving lots of comments in the comment section. And I don't remove comments on my channel. I just let everybody do what they want to do. And yeah, if they're going to start posting things, then yeah, they're only kind of embarrassing themselves. But this particular person was saying about how, I've stolen a video and I've taken it without the artist's permission and all these different things. And I'm going to be focusing just for a little bit of tomorrow's video on that, explaining how the analysis videos are requested and when I'm sent a link, how it works, but also what fair use and fair dealings are. And it's basically the same thing, but fair dealings is the UK version of the US fair use. And I kind of explain that because this person who's having a go at me in the comments section, they don't understand that I'm not taking a video and just uploading that exact same video without somebody's permission and just letting it play through in its entirety. My video is an analysis video. It's not the original video. I'm taking tiny sections of it and analysing, and that is covered by the law. So you are allowed to look at anything that you want to, as long as you are transforming it. You can't just take something and reproduce it. Like if there's a movie that's been released, how somebody might film it in the cinema and then upload it to the internet. So it's just the movie in its entirety. That's illegal. You can't do that. But if somebody is now reviewing a movie, you can do that. They show a scene of it and then they talk about it. That is legal. That is covered by fair use and fair dealing. So, people don't seem to understand that. So I kind of explained about that in the video just at the beginning. And yeah, unfortunately, this particular person left loads of comments. And the other thing was that I was asked to make a video, which is why I've done it for tomorrow night. I was asked by the band's fans to look at this particular person's YouTube channel and look at this performance and that performance. Very much like the Taylor Swift thing that we had, where Taylor Swift fans were then wanting me to look at another song. The song after the one that I analysed, and then the song where she's playing the piano or playing acoustic guitar. So then I did that, and all I'm going to be doing is pointing out what's going on in the performance. So I'm going to be doing that again tomorrow night. So I'll be pointing out exactly what's going on because the fans of the band have asked me to do that. And it's very difficult because I don't know how they're going to react to me pointing out what is going on. Because if it contradicts what they think is going on, then you have a bit of a problem, because they're saying, oh, check out this performance and that performance and this crowd shot footage. And then if I present exactly what's going on, I'm just going to be stating that, that fact, just what is happening on stage and how the sound is being achieved that we are hearing. But also comparing it with the official live videos to show what's going on with those in comparison to them when you look at crowd shot footage. So it's going to be an interesting video for tomorrow night. So look out for that one. And then maybe on Tuesday night we can take a look at what I get up to tomorrow night in London with Taj at the garage in North London. So that's Highbury. So that's very close to Arsenal's, if you're into soccer, or football we call it here. If you're into the Premier League, Arsenal play football very close to where I'm going to be playing tomorrow night. So anyway, right now, okay, it's 10 past. We've got. I was going to say we're going to have to jump into this backing track, but let's get out of Troll Corner first, and I'll see you guys in a second. Rock.
Bye bye.
Okay, I'm grabbing the guitar, trying not to wreck everything. Right, so here we go. I've got the strap on the guitar because I have to stretch to try and get okay, a little bit disorganized, but new strings, gonna have to play these in. That's close enough. Right, now I'm listening to this through a laptop, so it might be a disaster, who knows. The other thing that's really annoying, I don't know, this is like a guitarist thing, I think, when on my second finger, earlier today, I was doing some tapping, as you do on the guitar, and I now have a feeling like exactly where I tap, I've got a splinter or something in my finger, like maybe a minuscule piece of nickel or something from the string when I was tapping. And I've tried to use kind of gaffer tape, which is my kind of top tip for getting rid of splinters and things, is you put gaffer tape, like sticky tape, on your finger or wherever the splinter is, and then you just keep on doing it until it sticks to it and pulls it out. Because all it needs to do is just touch a little bit of the splinter, and more often than not, that will solve the problem. But for whatever reason, I tried that, it didn't really work. But it still feels like I got something in my second finger, which is really annoying because it means that when I tap onto the string, it's like, ah! So maybe no tapping tonight. Now, let's turn on the mic. That was Melody Rocks telling me to... There we go. Can you hear that? Hopefully you can. So this is hard rock, fast guitar, backing track, E minor from Nick Neblo or Neblo on YouTube. I'm listening to this through a laptop, so we'll just give it a go and see what happens. Okay, this is really quiet on my laptop. Now zoom out. Can you hear this? Red dude. Oh, he appeared straight away. Finished? Oh no, it's still going. It's just really quiet. Had it finished? Has it finished? I don't know. It went a little bit quiet at the end, so I'm assuming that then finished. So, in the kind of louder parts, I could hear what was going on, ish. And yeah, when it went quiet, I couldn't really hear any of it. But that's what happens when you're listening to it through a laptop. So, there we go. That was hard rock, fast guitar, backing track, E minor with new strings that I'm still playing in. And that's Nick Neblo or Nick Neblo on YouTube. So thank you, Joe, for sending that my way. And thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up so that we did have a Phil Jam for tonight. I am going to be here with that video tomorrow night, even though I'm going to be playing in London. And if you can make it down to the garage in North London tomorrow night, that's where I will be with Taj. So if you can make it, I will see you there. But if you can make it on Tuesday night to the live stream, I might have some stuff from the show there that I can show as well. So yeah, it'd be great to see you on this Tuesday night. And yeah, all that's left for me to say, I believe everything is up to date. So all that's left for me to say is, oh, Melody Rock says, are you bringing your live 6 tomorrow night? So yes, I'm taking this and that behind me, and not the headphones and the rock horns, but yes, the amplifier, my Line 6 HD150. So right, that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I'll see you at the video tomorrow night, and I'll see you with the report on the Tuesday night live stream. If you can join me then, that's where I will be. But I will see you guys then. Rock!